Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how we love to dig into all sorts of fascinating topics here. And well, today we're doing something a little different.
Different? How so?
We're diving into a book review, Simple Solutions for Complicated Problems by Himanshu Sharma. And let me tell you, the title really got me hooked.
Intriguing title for sure, but does it live up to the hype?
That's what we're here to find out. The reviewer claims this book's got it all. Finding meaning, breaking free from limitations we put on ourselves, and, ultimately reaching that personal growth and happiness we're all after. Sounds pretty great, right?
Yeah, almost too good to be true, Like, how can there be simple solutions for all those complicated things we deal with?
I know, but apparently that's the whole point. The reviewer says this book's packed with practical steps and insights, almost like a toolkit for a better life. So let's dive in and see what's got them so excited.
All right, I'm all ears. What's the first tool in this metaphorical toolkit?
Well, it seems like the book starts by really zeroing in on those obstacles that keep us from, actually enjoying life.
Ugh, those pesky roadblocks. We all know them, right? The things that hold us back from really living and thriving. What's the book's take on those?
So it emphasizes that a lot of those limitations, they're self-imposed.
Oh, I know all about that. We're often our own worst enemies, aren't we?
Totally. And the book seems to offer a way to recognize those limitations and finally break free from them.
All right, so how do we do that? Spill the beans. What's the secret sauce?
One concept that really resonated with the reviewer is something the author calls the circle of control.
Circle of control. Interesting. Tell me more.
It basically says, instead of getting all stressed out about stuff we can't control, we should shift our focus to what we can influence. Our actions, our attitudes, even our responses to those curveballs life throws at us.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, how much energy do we waste worrying about things that are completely out of our hands?
Right. The reviewers seem to find that idea pretty empowering, like taking back control of your own life,
Totally. It reminds me a bit of the Stoic philosophy, actually. Focusing on what's within our sphere of influence and letting go of the rest.
Oh, that's a great connection. I can see how that fits in. But now, get ready for this. The book also explores a bunch of ancient practices, stuff like yoga, pranayama, and meditation.
Okay, now this is where I get really interested. I'm always up for exploring those ancient wisdom traditions.
Me too. And the best part is, the book doesn't just present them as some kind of mystical rituals, it breaks them down and shows how they can be actually integrated into our crazy modern lives.
That's what I'm talking about. Ancient wisdom for the modern world. How does it suggest using those practices?
Well, for example, the reviewer mentioned how the author suggests using pranayama, which are these breathing exercises, to manage stress during a crazy workday.
Oh, I could definitely use some of that. My inbox is a constant source of stress.
Right. Imagine taking a few minutes to do some focused breathing in the middle of all the chaos. It seems like the book's full of those kinds of practical tips.
So simple, yet so powerful. I love it. It's like taking those ancient tools and applying them to the unique challenges we face in the 21st century.
Exactly. And, speaking of modern challenges, the reviewer highlighted another crucial aspect: relationships. But not just any relationships.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Relationships can be both the source of our greatest joy and our biggest headaches. So what's the book's angle on that?
The focus is on figuring out which relationships actually support us, help us thrive, and which ones might be, draining our energy.
That's so important. It's not always easy to spot those energy vampires, the people who leave us feeling depleted instead of uplifted.
I know. But apparently, the book offers some really helpful guidance on how to make those distinctions, like figuring out who's genuinely got your back and who might be holding you back.
I'm really curious to see what kind of advice it gives on that front. Relationships are such a complex part of life, and navigating them effectively can be a real game changer.
Totally. And get this, the author actually gets pretty personal in the book.
Oh, I love that. It's so much more engaging when an author is willing to share their own experiences. It makes them seem more human, less like some distant guru.
Exactly. He shares his own experiments, the things he's tried, what worked, what didn't. And the reviewer said that made the whole thing feel much more relatable and less preachy.
I can see why. When an author is vulnerable enough to share their own journey, it makes the advice feel more authentic and achievable. It's like they've been in the trenches, they get it.
Exactly. And finally, the reviewer touched on the book's ultimate goal, which is to help readers achieve what the author calls perfection.
Now, hold on, perfection. Isn't that setting the bar a little high?
I know, right? It sounds a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
But the reviewer was quick to point out that the author isn't talking about some unattainable ideal.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense. So what's the author's definition of perfection then?
It's more about reaching your full potential, living in alignment with your values, and, really feeling authentic and fulfilled in your life.
Ah, I see. It's not about being flawless, but about becoming the best version of yourself. That's a much more empowering way to think about it.
Totally. And it seems like the book provides a roadmap for getting there. So, if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just looking for some fresh perspectives on life's big questions, this book might be worth checking out.
It definitely sounds like it's packed with thought-provoking ideas and practical tools. And who knows, maybe it does hold some simple solutions to those complicated problems we all face.
And even if it doesn't have all the answers, it might just inspire you to find your own unique path. Because ultimately, isn't that what it's all about?
Absolutely. Discovering what works for you, what brings you joy, and what helps you live a more meaningful life.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe that's the real takeaway here. The journey itself is the adventure. And every step we take, every book we read, every conversation we have brings us closer to understanding ourselves and the world around us.
Well said. So, to everyone listening, what simple solutions are you seeking? And what steps will you take today to create a more fulfilling life?
Great question to ponder. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep striving for that best version of yourself.
See you all next time.